Two cops stopped a black man on a quiet street, accusing him of a crime he didn't commit. Little did they know, he was the state's chief prosecutor, ready to reveal their lies and the corruption within the system. What happened next left everyone stunned, but let's start at the beginning. David Miller, a tall, middle-aged black man dressed in a sharp navy suit, strolled through the quiet suburban streets of Woodrest. It was late, and the dim glow of streetlights stretched long shadows on the empty road. David was heading home after a long, exhausting day preparing for a high-profile case. His briefcase felt heavier than usual, but his mind was focused on tomorrow's strategy. As he rounded a corner, flashing blue and red lights illuminated the street. A police car slowed to a stop beside him. David paused, instinctively raising his hands slightly to show he wasn't a threat. Two officers stepped out of the cruiser. "Evening," said Officer Barnes, a stout man in his 40s with a cynical smirk. "What are you doing out here this late?" "Walking home," David replied evenly, keeping his tone calm. "Is there a problem?" Barnes exchanged a glance with his younger partner, Officer Grant, who appeared hesitant. "Got a call about a burglary," Barnes said, folding his arms. "You fit the description." David blinked. "A burglary? I just left my office downtown. I'm a lawyer." Barnes chuckled humorlessly. "A lawyer? Huh. What's in the briefcase?" "Stolen goods." Grant shifted uncomfortably, but stayed silent. David stayed composed. "It's legal documents." "You're welcome to take a look." Barnes snatched the briefcase without asking, ignoring David's protests. He riffled through the neatly arranged papers. "Huh," Barnes said mockingly. "Looks like someone's trying a little too hard to look innocent." "This is harassment," David said firmly. "I haven't done anything wrong." "That's for us to decide," Barnes snapped. "Turn around. Hands behind your back." "On what grounds?" David demanded, his patience wearing thin. "You have no evidence." Barnes grabbed David roughly, cuffing him. "Resisting an officer, for starters," he growled. "Let's see what else we can add." Grant hesitated, but reached for his radio. "Dispatch, we're bringing in a suspect," he muttered, avoiding David's gaze. David was pushed into the back of the cruiser, his heart pounding not with fear, but with anger. He stayed silent, vowing that this injustice would not go unanswered. At the station, David was taken to a fluorescent-lit booking area that reeked of disinfectant and stale coffee. Officer Barnes processed David with a smirk, while Grant lingered uneasily by the door. David's belongings, wallet, phone, and briefcase were taken from him without care. Placed in a cold, peeling paint cell, David sat on the hard bench. Through the bars, he could hear Barnes boasting, "Another one off the streets." "Can't wait to see his face when the court throws the book at him." David's hands clenched into fists. He had spent his career fighting systemic racism, and now he was its victim. His resolve hardened. This wouldn't end here. The next morning, David used his one phone call to contact his legal team. By noon, his assistant Rachel stormed into the station with evidence that not only cleared David, but exposed Barnes' misconduct. David was released within hours. But this wasn't over. A week later, the courtroom buzzed with tension. Officer Barnes lounged confidently at the prosecution table, while Grant fidgeted beside him. Sitting with them was Patricia Reynolds, the district's tough on-crime star prosecutor. David, however, entered with calm authority, his tailored suit and composed demeanor commanding attention. When the judge called the court to order, David stood. "Your Honor, I will be representing myself." A ripple of astonished whispers swept through the room. Over the next hour, David dismantled the case. He presented video footage proving he was nowhere near the alleged burglary. Then, the bombshell, an audio recording from the squad car. Barnes' voice played over the speakers, mocking David and admitting there was no real suspect. Finally, David called Grant to the stand. Under questioning, Grant cracked. "It wasn't right," he admitted. "There was no evidence." Barnes told me to make it look legitimate. The courtroom erupted. Barnes jumped to his feet, shouting, but the truth was out. The judge dismissed the charges against David and ordered an investigation into Barnes. Weeks later, David addressed reporters outside the courthouse. "This isn't just about me," he said. "It's about a system that allows injustice to thrive, but together we can change it." The crowd erupted in applause as David stepped back, determined to keep fighting. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to Unfolded Tales Explained and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next story.